So you've discovered as you're implementing live streaming into your business marketing strategy that you tend to be going live more in the moment than in a planned capacity, which means you need to be able to go live right now, this very second, without a ton of stress or a ton of preparation, which is why it's so cool that there's a brand new platform called Melon that allows you to live stream in 5 simple clicks, and you can be on air talking to your fans. Now we are going to take a look at the dashboard. I'm going to show you all the buttons, everything you need to know, how you can be implementing this into your business, and we're going to be talking about the improvements that they're making because this is a brand new platform. They are building this up and growing, and it's going to be so good for your business. So let's take a look and hit up the dashboard because I have a special link for you to get a free trial of this plus some extra special goodies and resources. So hit that up and let's take a look at the dashboard. For your Melon dashboard, you will have access to all of the features you need in order to go live, to stream in the moment for your business. Now, if you do not want to be on screen while you're preparing to go live, you can look at the top left-hand corner. That will allow you to hide this from the main screen. That way you can see your background, you can see all the different features that you want to set up potentially before you go live, and if you don't want it up on the screen at all, you can actually click the stop video button down at the bottom of your toolbar. Now, you are of course going to be able to click that little upward arrow, and that will allow you to change your video source. So if you rig up something other than your built-in camera, you can use that here. You also have the ability to change your resolution so that it matches your streaming capacity so that your fans get the best view of you possible as you are doing your live streaming. Now, you can of course set up your screen before you go live, which I personally love to do. I like to make sure that I am ready to go and I know exactly what's going to be on my screen when it is time to go live. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the edit screen button. This brings me into my general settings, at which point I can change my presenter name. So I can change that right here, which I can display up in that top corner, or I can remove those. So you can turn on and off the participant names right up there in the corner. And you have the ability to change your quality. You can change your audio status, so you can actually show the microphone or remove the microphone. You have the ability to toggle on this noise if you want that to inform you when guests are joining you. You also have the ability to change your logo. So up in the top corner, you can change the logo. Obviously the Melon logo is in here right now, but you can upload your own image as well. Please make sure this is a PNG file, meaning the background is invisible so that you don't have it like a white square or something around it, unless that is actually part of your logo. So you can toggle that on and off while you're on air or before. You also have the ability to use your banner, which is really, really good. This is typically where you're going to put in information on like people's names, the topics you're talking about. This is where I would put in those bullet points that I'm discussing while I am on air. And pro tip here. Right now, this is built for in-the-moment streaming. So this is if you had no plans to go live, you will be able to type this in as you go, and it will change it while you're live on air. It's a really cool feature. But they are building this out so that you can create an actual flow so that it's already logged in there. So if you are preparing before you go live, you have the ability just to have everything synced up, and then you can toggle through it so that you're ready to go. Now, until they build out this feature, I do recommend that you actually have a running list of things that you may want to put on screen before you go live. So get a Google Doc, get a Word doc, get a note on your phone, something that you can easily access and just copy and paste it from one thing to the other, so that you can change it inside of the actual live stream easily without having to type and have that typing noise inside of your live stream. Now, the cool thing, the thing I love the most about this feature is that I can change both the font and the color of my banner. Not only my banner, but my ticker as well. So let's look at this. We have the ability to actually go through and change the different font to match the font of our business, which I have not really seen other platforms do, and I love this feature. So you can go through and find one that is related to you. I know for me, for my businesses, I typically have an all uppercase font. So if I have something that's similar, if I have that block look to it, I would be able to then just capitalize all my words and very closely match what I am doing inside of my personal branding for my businesses. And you can do the same by kind of playing around with what you've got there. Now, like I said, you do have the ability to change not only the background, which I love, but the font of this as well. So if I wanted light on dark, or if I wanted maybe the dark words over that, maybe I would have like a lighter color here, I can actually go through and change this to match my branding, which is incredible and I have not seen from a lot of platforms. So pro tip here on this one, whatever color you pick, if you have a color, if you know it like from your website or your logo or whatever, copy and paste it in, you're good to go. If you're just picking a color that you like for that particular stream or for those particular series of streams that you're doing, please make sure you're copying this number right here. Save it somewhere in a Word doc, a Google Doc, in a note on your computer, somewhere that you can easily access it so that you can replicate this over and over again. So instead of having to click on it and try to find a similar color that'll be a shade or two off, you've got the exact number so that it's easy for you to do, especially if you are coordinating your banner and your ticker. So you do have the ability to change this as you go. You can change that as you go, and in real time this actually changes, which is something I don't see from other platforms. It changes in real time. It's not some kind of like glitchy switch on you, and I absolutely love this. So let's call this our banner so that you can continue to see that, and let's take a look at your ticker. Ticker is the same basic process, except it's scrolling down along the bottom. Now this is going to be getting people's attention, but this is not necessarily for your topics. This is more for like calls to action and more for getting those bonus pro tips there, or getting people to realize that you're talking about a specific link or something on your website, something you want them to go do. And again, those calls to action like subscribing to your channel or like commenting a certain thing. You want to make sure your calls to action are down here, and I do not recommend having these things on your screen at all times, because then people are just going to tune it out. If something is there the entire time, they will kind of block that out and just listen to you speaking. But if there's a pattern interrupt, if you put them on and off as necessary when they apply to what you're talking about, that's going to get their attention and make them pay closer attention to the things you're saying and emphasizing through your ticker and your banner. So you have the ability to turn those on and off with a simple toggle, and you will be good to go when it comes to this. And again, you can change this as you are live streaming. So if you have things you know you're going to want to say, please type them up somewhere else, have them on your screen ready to go, and then just copy and paste them in so that people can easily see them. Now they also have the ability to do a really cool background. So let me go ahead and let me just hide myself from screen, and let's look at these banners or the backgrounds, because they've got a number of pre-programmed in backgrounds that could potentially match what you are doing, and they just change in real time. You do have the ability to upload your own, so you want to make sure that you are creating one that maybe matches your particular background or your particular logos or your website or whatever it is for your branding. You want to make sure that you do in fact have that ready to go, and then you're going to match your banner and your ticker colors to that as well, so that it looks like one cohesive creation that goes with your business. And keep in mind, if you're doing series, you may actually want to create something specific to your series that also goes with your branding but stands out among what you are doing to kind of differentiate it on the replays when people are going through and watching your YouTube page or your Facebook page or whatever it happens to be. So make sure you design this in a cohesive look so that it all makes sense. We've got lots of information on that down below on how to create a really effective live stream to make sure it matches your branding and it stands out, and that people can easily recognize it when it comes to what you are doing on your live streams. Now, this is not all we have access to, though. I'm really excited because you do have the ability to screen share, which is something that I find absolutely important when you do this. So when you pull this up, you do have the ability to share your entire screen, your application window, or your Chrome tab. And pro tip here, I will say, I have found that this is not necessarily the same when it comes to, let's just do picture in picture here. This is not the same when it comes to live streaming on like Safari. So right now I'm on a Chrome browser that allows me to share the application window. This is not the same as a Safari browser, which only allows you to share the entire window. So I do recommend going live through a Chrome browser for best results when it comes to live streaming through Melon. So I've gone ahead and I have just shown the screen. I am going to go ahead and do this whole Inception picture-in-picture thing so that you can check that out. And when you have more than one person on screen, you will see that background. So the background's not going to necessarily be seen if it's just you on screen, and that's totally fine. But be aware it's going to show if you've got more than one thing. Now, the cool thing that I really love about Melon that I have not seen in other platforms is that you can easily switch locations by dragging and dropping. All I have to do is grab it and just switch it back and forth. Now, right now, you can't move it to specific designated places on screen that are not those two windows, but that is a really cool feature that they are potentially working on as well. And for now, I just have the ability to switch things up. So if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to notice that they have multiple layouts so that you can have big things, little things, and the more things you have on screen, the more layouts you're going to have access to. And again, you can just switch them so that you can do whatever it is that you need to do so that people can see you and see what you're speaking or teaching or educating on while you are doing your live streaming. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off my banner and ticker to give you the full picture here, but you can kind of see how this is going to be really instrumental in your branding. So as you're designing your backgrounds, please pay attention to these different layouts. Test these out. I do recommend before you jump into any live streaming platform, you kind of play around with it a little bit just to see the different layouts and where you're going to have access to extra space right here, where you could actually put some information or calls to action or like reminders of your social media. There's all sorts of things you can do with this. You just have to make sure that you are taking the time and effort to create that. And make sure you check down in the description bar below because I'm actually going to have some bonus resources on that for you as well. So you will have the ability to check out those layouts. You can, of course, click on suggested and other, and you'll have the ability to click on them when they apply. So obviously you do not have the ability to have a 3-screen layout if you don't have 3 things on your screen. So you're going to have access to the ones that make sense for what you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to remove that particular part, and let's continue taking a look at some of these really great features. So not only do you have access to backgrounds and screen sharing and all those fun things, but you do have the ability to hide your settings. So over here on the general settings, that can be up. You can remove it from the bottom button down here or from the little X up at the top. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click hide settings. It's going to make this full screen for me. I now have the ability to turn on my chat. So once I'm live, I do have the ability to click on that show chat button, and this will be all the incoming chats from your different locations that you are streaming to. So you can see what's going to be live, what people are going to be saying on YouTube or on Twitch or on Facebook, and you also have access to a private chat, which is just people here in the dashboard. So you and your guests, people who are here inside of this dashboard. People just viewing you on the social media platforms will not be able to see this chat. This is really great if you need to chat with somebody who's not on screen with you yet, or if you need to warn somebody that their time is coming up, or that they need to wrap it up, or not to forget something that you want them to talk about. This is a great way to communicate with them while you're on air without having to actually say things in front of people. Typically for me, I don't use this a ton, but I do use that stream chat. And here's a pro tip for you. If you have guests on your show, I've noticed guests who are not necessarily used to live streaming will be watching that chat, and they could potentially get distracted and stop answering a question or answer something else while they're doing it. So I always recommend telling your guests to switch over to the private chat in case you need to talk to them, right? It's very important to have them over there so that they're not distracted. Keep their eyes where you want them, only communicating with you, and then you can moderate the incoming chat as you are chatting with people. All right. So you have the chat there. You do have to toggle right now in between that chat box and your screen editing. So you only get one or the other, so make sure you're toggling between them, always checking to make sure you know if people are writing in during that chat so that you can respond to them and interact with them as well. So of course, going through these buttons again, you do have the ability to mute yourself. You have the ability to stop your video and change your input and your resolution. You have the ability to screen share, showing your chat, hiding your settings. Let's talk about how to actually schedule your live streams, because this is pretty fun. So here we go. We're going to click on schedule, and at this point you are going to have access to anything you've already scheduled through this app, and you can of course set up new ones as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on new. And you have the ability here to actually do this on multiple platforms. So you can simulcast through Melon, which is pretty cool, and you can just add in whatever you need. So I've logged in through my YouTube page so that this is where I'm actually doing my streaming from, and I am just clicking on that to check to make sure that's what I really want. I can then link my Facebook, I can link my Twitch account, I can link my Periscope account, or I can link a custom link as well. So if you have access to other streaming platforms and you can grab that stream key, you do have the ability to go live through there as well. So you can stream to more than one of these locations at the same time if that is something that you want to do. And we've got information on whether you should be simulcasting or not down in the description bar below to decide if it's going to be a good fit appropriate for you and each individual live stream that you do. You're going to click on the next button, and that is going to bring you over to the time. So you will be able to pick your time and date, and then you will be able to put in your title. Remember, with your title, you want to make sure that you have something that is SEO friendly, that is search friendly, and really tells people what you are going to be doing. Also add in that kind of emotional tag after to get people to view it. If you need help on your titles, we've got lots of great resources down below, but this will potentially make or break not only your live stream, but your replay of your live stream as well. They are currently building out the description. Right now, you only have up to 75 characters, which is not a lot for places like YouTube. So they are currently building this out to be longer. Make sure that you are including links to other videos if that's going to be applicable, and make sure that you're using those hashtags if you are streaming to YouTube, because that's going to be really helpful for getting found while you are live streaming. And then just make sure you've got really valuable information in here, potentially with a call to action so that you're ready to go. And at that point, you are just going to be able to schedule your live stream. You will actually have to type that in, and at that point it will give you a link which you can share. Because I'm not scheduling this, I'm not going to go through that step, but you do have access to a link that you can then share that leads people to the different platforms. You can also grab these from the platforms that you are working on once you have created your live stream. Now, I have talked to the folks over at Melon. They have said they are working on getting an image connected to this as well, because we know when we are setting up live streams on Facebook, on YouTube, they do allow you to have that thumbnail in place so that people can easily see it. But if you do not have access to that right now through it, just be aware that you will have a graphic connected to your Facebook page or to your YouTube page over on those platforms. You can go in and you can actually change those manually after the fact, but that's just an extra step you can take, and they're working on building that out right now, because this is the very early stages of the Melon platform, and I am loving the changes that they are implementing in right now. So this is incredibly simple to use. You don't even have to go through the process. If you want to live stream from here, if you are in the moment and you just need to live stream, it is going to be so incredibly simple for you to just come into this stream. All you have to do is click on that schedule tool. You can pull this up, pull up your placement, pull up that time that you're going to be live streaming, and then click the button. And because you don't have to set anything up in advance, you can do all of your editing after the fact. So this is a great way to build up what you're doing on your live streaming as you are doing this in real time. Now, pro tip here, you don't just have to go this alone. You can have guests on screen with you. It is so incredibly easy to do. So take a look at the top left-hand corner. You're going to see where it says Invite Guest. Click on the button, it's going to copy a link, and all you have to do is email it, DM it, or text message it to somebody. All they have to do is have the link. They do not have to download anything, just like you did not have to download anything to go live through Melon. This is going to be so time effective for you. So if you have somebody you need to go live with you, you can send it right then and there. When they join you, it will appear in this left-hand side screen. It will let you know that they are here, and then you can just add them to screen so that people can see them and access them as well. You will be able to hear and see them off camera before you put them on the main screen, so that if they need to wave you down, if they're off screen for whatever reason while you're live streaming, you will be able to have access to that. And of course, they can talk to you through chat, and then you can bring them on and off screen as needed so that you can have the conversations that you want to have while you are live streaming through Melon on any of those platforms that you love. Now, if you've got questions about this, go ahead and let me know down below. I'm giving you a free trial of this, and I've got some really cool resources for growing your live streaming platform as well. So hit up the dashboard down below, but I would love to get your questions answered. They are currently building out this platform. Like I said, this is the very beginning stages of this. We are in the early steps of this, so you are going to be able to grow with them as they grow. And they're working on some really cool features. So I'm very excited for this one. You can be checking this out, testing this out for free right now. Links down below. And if you've got questions on how to leverage this in your business, go ahead and hit me up. I would love to get those answered for you. Stay tuned and hit the subscribe and notification bell, because in the next video, we're talking about leveling up your live streams, and I got some bonus resources for you. This one's gonna be good. We're talking all about how you can be growing through live streaming, which we know is the place that is getting kicked out the most in the algorithm right now and is getting in the most points in the algorithm system. So stay tuned. Big things are coming, and I'll see you in the next video as we continue our discussion on how to live stream inside of your business.